Golden Doves class 220, page 130. I'm sorry, page 131, Panim Achor, section 3. Panim Achor. The function of panim. We said panim, well, in English, we translate it as face, but we know that in Hebrew, we previously explained that panim means the inside of the person, right? Panim. Achor. Achor literally means back, again, translated as back, but it means the exterior, the visual part of the person. Is best understood in light of Arabic and Sephardic grammatical theory. So let's apply Arabic and Sephardic grammatical theory to understanding panim achor. Panim el panim. So God speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu and only to Moshe Rabbeinu. Panim el panim. It involves a dialogue between the speaker, first person, and the addressee, second person. So when you say panim el panim, let's say I speak to an individual panim el panim, that means he's in front of me and I'm addressing him. Accordingly, there is presence and linguistic subjectivity, as we studied in the previous sections. I'm not going to repeat it now. It also implies successive synthesis. Well, it implies successive synthesis because we communicate through words, through speech. And in order to process the words, the speech, there's a successive synthesis along the temporal axis, whereby the words are combined to form a message. Achol. Achol stands for the third person or the absent. Interesting. Because the third person is absent from the act of speech. Reuven is speaking to Shimon. I'm speaking to Levi. Hello, Levi. How are you? Good morning. Comes Shimon from the side. Yes, good morning to you. I wasn't speaking to you. I was speaking to Levi, right? I wouldn't be rude, but the point is that the speech is between me and the second person. So the third person may try to interject himself, and maybe he or she will be successful in interjecting themselves, but they're not part of the speech. So achol stands for the absent person. It excludes linguistic subjectivity. The function of the third person is objectivity. He is objectively listening to the dialogue between the first and the second person. And because he's not involved in that dialogue, one would argue that he has a more objective understanding of what's going on, right? One would argue. Not necessarily the case, of course, because the first person and the second person have a special dialogue and they know what they mean when they say what they say. But still, there's that illusion of objectivity. The Temunah image is apprehended through simultaneous synthesis, right? So simultaneous synthesis, in terms of the idea of Temunah, a visual image. So you see, we said that when you see an image, your mind constructs things along the spatial axis and it gathers data points and creates an image. That's the Temunah. From this perspective, language is impersonal. There is no presence. So, for example, I have a recording of one person speaking to another person. I listen to the recording. I'm the third person. Obviously, in that case, I'm not participating in the speech. So it's impersonal. I don't feel the presence of either individual. They're not talking to me. I can't finally feel their presence. The original of the Temunah must be absent. So when you have a mirror, and reflected on that mirror is the image of a book. So the book is not there. I just see the Temunah, I just see the image. To the third person, he's absent from the active dialogue from the second and from the first to second person. The Temunah is to be apprehended in the speculum, never directly, right? Ahor is not mere absence in a purely static and negative sense. It involves passing away. Vayavor Hashem al panav, he passes away from Moshe Rabbeinu, a crossing over. Vayavor, yeah. In contradistinction to covering the face, which is absence in a missing and inattentive sense. So when Moshe Rabbeinu covers his face, what he's trying to do is he's trying to be absent. He doesn't feel like his mind is worthy to behold the Shekhinah or to understand, even to understand something about the Shekhinah. So he makes himself absent, but this is a passive. He's absent in the sense that he doesn't want to know, and he's not processing anything, right? He's inattentive. He's drawing his attention away from, right? But the Achor absence is dynamic. That's when when HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe Rabbeinu, Vera'ita et Ahorai, that's not like Vayaseh Moshe Panav. Vera'ita et Ahorai, you're going to process something, you're going to be paying attention to the Ahor. It is a continuous movement away. So in Ahor, all Moshe Rabbeinu can see, and he reached the highest levels. I don't think anybody else can see more. All Moshe Rabbeinu can see is the passing away, the going away. I don't like the word passing away, but okay, the going away of Hashem, meaning after Hashem is present, the presence of Hashem is leaving, and he can experience the leaving of that presence. And this finds ultimate and dynamic expression in the Temunah. After the object comes the image. You understand? So first you have the object. The object leaves an image on the mirror, let's say. All right. And for our purposes, the mirror captures that image. And the object is going away, but you're looking at the mirror, which is the imprint of the object having been there at some point in time. So you're not looking at the object, you're looking at the mirror, but the fact that you're looking at the mirror is because the object is already gone or leaving, right? After ahar, after, also ahor doesn't just mean back, but also means afterwards. Ahara devarim ha'ele. After means that first the thing must move away in order to allow itself to be grasped again. So in order to grasp the thing, it has to, there's a temunah, the temunah, I'm sorry, the mirror captures it. And only after it moves away, and there's this dynamic motion away, can one understand something about what's being captured on the mirror. Noted, okay. After means that first the thing, noted Blanchot. So this is Blanchot, Maurice Blanchot, two versions of the imaginary. He says, I'm going to read that sentence again. After the object, I'm sorry, yeah. After the object comes the image. After means that first the thing must move away in order to allow itself to be grasped again, noted Blanchot. The Ahor Moshe, interesting, says grasped again, right? So it's almost like a dynamic, like you're putting together, like there was a presence, and that presence left an imprint on the mirror. But then as a presence leaves, it leaves a slightly different imprint on the mirror. And then as it's continuing to leave, the temunah itself changes, and you're always looking at that and you're understanding something about that which is leaving. The Ahor motion results in a dynamic tension which affects the distancing necessary to apprehend the Temunah. So ironically, as it goes further and further away, you can understand more and more in the case of Moshe Rabbeinu about the Kadosh Baruch Hu, because the presence of God prevents the actual understanding of God. The presence is Kilo Yarani Ha'adam B'chai, right? So that's why I have a Ya'avor. It's passing, it's going, it's traveling. And as it passes by Moshe Rabbeinu, then Vera'ita et Ahorai, and you'll see that, right? One must also say that the Temunah displaces the original, because all you have is the Temunah, you don't have the original. Distancing is the effect of the speculum. Interesting. Okay, and then we have a quote. And this quote is from Maurice Blanchot. The thing was there. And once it has become an image, it instantly becomes ungraspable, non-contemporary, impassive, not the same thing. Distanced, but this as distancing, the present thing in its absence, the thing graspable becomes ungraspable. appearing as something that has disappeared. The return of what does not come back. Wow. The strange heart of the distance as the life and unique heart of the thing. So this is an unbelievable quote by Maurice Blanchard, and that my father brought this here is really wow. I'm just going to read that quote again, and then we'll finish the class. The thing was there, right? Like God says, and you shall know that a prophet was amongst you. When the prophet is there, oftentimes you don't appreciate the prophet, right? But then when he leaves, suddenly you become aware of what he meant, right? And once it has become an image, it instantly becomes ungraspable, non-contemporary, impassive, not the same thing, distant. So now you only have an image in your mind because the prophet is left, let's say. He has left. So you have the image of the prophet in your mind. But of course it becomes ungraspable because what can you grasp of the image? It's not the same thing. It's distanced. But that this as distancing, the present thing in its absence, the thing graspable becomes ungraspable, appearing as something that has disappeared. The return of what does not come back, the strange heart of the distance as the life and unique heart of the thing. Yeah, there's additional things about this that I cannot say, but we'll just leave it at that.